Protesters say Chile has finally woken up. In 1 year, what started as a student rally against a small increase in subway fares has grown into the scrapping of the country's dictatorship-era constitution. 30 people have lost their lives in the wave of discontent, demanding a new charter that supports the people, not the ruling class.
The triumph of the referendum is thanks to none other than our brave young people. They were the ones who dared to take the leap. These injustices have been in place for more than 30 years. I wanted this to happen for a long time, and now, thanks to them, it's happened.
Chileans have voted overwhelmingly to rewrite the capitalist constitution, imposed 4 decades ago under Augusto Pinochet's military dictatorship. Many say it's the root of glaring economic and social inequality. They want a new charter, one that expands the role of the state in providing a welfare safety net and ensuring basic rights to healthcare, education, pensions, even water.
Today, Chileans have freely expressed their will, choosing a constituent constitution. Today, unity has prevailed over division and peace over violence. This referendum is not the end. It is the beginning of a path that we must all walk together to agree on a new constitution for Chile.
The new code will be drafted by a body of citizens made up equally of men and women and submitted to voters in 2 years' time.
The truth is that Chileans have many aspirations. We expect a lot from this change. But above all, I think we have achieved the dignity we were looking for.
Protesters are pinning a lot of hope on a new constitution writing the course of the country. With the words rebirth projected around the capital, they say this is the death of the dictatorship and the beginning of a more equal Chile. Liz Maddock, TRT World.
Remi Piet is a senior partner at the emerging markets consultancy Embellie Advisory. He joins us now from Miami, Florida. Great to have you back with us, Remi. Now, let's look at Chile's constitution first. It enshrines the neoliberal philosophies of the so-called Chicago Boys, which was a group of Chilean conservatives mentored by none other than the US economist Milton Friedman, who, as we know, advocated for free market economics. How has that shaped Chile's economy?
Well, you made a great presentation indeed on the tenets that were behind this constitution that was decided throughout the 1980s by the Pinochet regime, so a right-wing military regime that was in power throughout the 70s and 80s up to 1990. And you're seeing now this shift that can be actually understood both politically and economically. And politically on this level, there's obviously a revenge of the left-wing parties, and that's actually throughout Latin America at a time of COVID that was extremely mismanaged by an elite in power in a series of countries. You see a different movement. So Chile, those demonstrations last year that were the following up of really, when you look at the economic reality, the fact that Chile is a fairly wealthy country, especially relatively to the rest of Latin America, but with the level of inequalities is staggering. And so that's the revenge of, the everyday people trying to, when you look at the constitution that was putting private rights as the priority for the constitutional basis of the Chilean country, a nation, above societal well-being. As a result, that has led to a flourishing economy with foreign investment in 1980s, 1990s, but a deepening of inequalities and understanding the needs of the society. And that's what was at stake yesterday, and the change of regime that we're going to see and the impact it will have both on the political level and on the economic level for the country and the rest of the region.
Yes, just to underscore that inequality, I was reading some research based on some World Bank figures which showed that the wealthiest 10% of Chileans receive nearly 40% of income in the country. So basically, it sounds like we have a society where it's fine if you're wealthy and can afford access to privatized health, education and other services. But if you're poor and have to rely on, say, public hospitals, you do suffer, don't you? There are stories where those people have to buy their own syringes, bandages and drugs. So reform of Chile's economy is long overdue, isn't it, to really address that gap between rich and poor?
So yes, exactly. I mean, this privatized state of a series of sectors, especially the health sector and education sector, has had a series of ramifications inside the society and strong impact, obviously, under the ongoing COVID pandemic. There was a series of people that lost their job, that did not have access anymore to the series of health protection that they used to have, and has had a large consequence on the numbers of dead people in Chile. A fairly, again, wealthy economy, part of OECD, a country that was, promoting his vision of a modern society and some of a success claim, as you were saying, under the Chicago School of Thought and monetarism of Friedland and others. As a result, what are we seeing now? We're seeing a real tsunami of votes in favor of a constitutional change, not only in terms of 78% of people demanding for this change, but also the way that this is going to be transcribed tomorrow. I mean, there were two options here on the table, whether it was a mix of the Congress and a constitutional assembly that would have given still Piñera the upper hand into the process, or really just a constitutional assembly of representatives of the people. That actually opens the Pandora box of a series of questions and impact that it will have politically and economically. In terms of politically, and we mentioned some changes and some new rights that will be included inside the Constitution, especially in terms of education and health, but that can also open a series of new claims from indigenous communities, of a series of requests to the rights to accessible water. So that's very important to see what will be drafted into this new constitution, and it will impact that it will have economically on a country where, for example, the mining sector represents 50% of Chilean exports today, 10% of the GDP, can be under certain considerations and ways a vector for development of the country, potentially sustainably, if you follow the United Nations SDG goals and others. But if not, I mean, those foreign investment will be impacted by a series of new taxes to be able to make up for both lost investment and jobs, and also to a certain extent, there's going to be a new series of probably income taxes. We'll have to look at in details what's going to be submitted to this constitutional assembly, but that will completely reshape the economy of Chile. Something that might be more sustainable in the long run, because the level of inequalities was unacceptable for Chile, but
Remi,
that actually...
I'm so sorry to interrupt, Remi. We will have to leave it there because we're running out of time, but thank you as always for shedding some light on that story.